In any relationship, the effort that each partner puts in is vital for maintaining emotional intimacy, connection, and overall satisfaction. When one partner stops making an effort to impress or please the other, it can be a significant indicator of emotional withdrawal or disengagement. This lack of effort is not just about grand gestures. It often shows up in the small, everyday acts of kindness, care, and attention that once kept the relationship thriving. The absence of these actions can create a feeling of distance between partners, leading to confusion, frustration, and even a sense of abandonment. Relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, require constant nurturing to remain strong. When a person stops putting effort into making their partner feel valued, it can be a sign that they no longer see the relationship as a priority or that their emotional involvement has faded. This shift can happen gradually and may not always be immediately noticeable. However, over time, the lack of effort becomes more apparent, and the emotional disconnect becomes harder to ignore. This lack of effort can manifest in various ways. It could be as simple as no longer sending thoughtful messages, forgetting special occasions, or not making time to spend quality moments together. It could also appear in the form of physical or emotional distance, where one partner stops engaging in intimacy or avoids deeper conversations. Whatever the form, the impact is the same. The relationship feels less fulfilling, and one partner feels unappreciated. In this article, we will explore the lack of effort to impress or please as one of the key signs that a woman may not have been emotionally invested in a relationship for some time. By understanding these behaviors and their underlying causes, we can gain insight into the emotional dynamics at play and how to address them. Number 1. Lack of physical contact. A lack of physical contact is often one of the most noticeable signs that something has changed in a relationship, particularly when it comes to a woman's emotional investment. Physical touch plays a fundamental role in creating and maintaining emotional bonds between partners. When a woman stops initiating or responding to physical affection, such as holding hands, hugging, or even casual touches, it can signal that she has emotionally detached from the relationship. Early in a relationship, physical touch is often abundant, whether it's a gentle hand on the arm, a comforting hug, or simply sitting close together. These small but meaningful gestures serve as expressions of affection, care, and closeness. However, when physical contact begins to diminish, it can be an indication of emotional withdrawal or a lack of interest in maintaining the bond. One of the most common reasons for a lack of physical contact is emotional disengagement. When a woman no longer feels emotionally connected to her partner, she may begin to pull away physically as well. This could be because she feels misunderstood, disconnected, or even dissatisfied in the relationship. The absence of physical affection often correlates with a decline in emotional intimacy. Physical touch is a way for individuals to feel close and reassured in a relationship. When this reassurance is no longer felt or desired, the physical aspect of the relationship diminishes, signaling that the emotional foundation is weakening. Another aspect to consider is the emotional state of the woman. If she is feeling emotionally drained, exhausted, or overwhelmed, she may stop seeking physical comfort from her partner. Emotional fatigue can lead to withdrawal in many forms, and physical touch may be one of the first things to fade. When a woman feels emotionally disconnected or burdened by other aspects of her life, the thought of physical affection may feel like an additional obligation rather than something she genuinely enjoys or desires. In some cases, a lack of physical contact may be a result of unresolved conflicts or ongoing tension in the relationship. If there have been repeated arguments, misunderstandings, or unaddressed issues, a woman may subconsciously distance herself from her partner, both emotionally and physically. Physical touch can be an expression of comfort and trust. If those feelings are not present due to conflict or a lack of resolution, a woman may avoid initiating or responding to physical affection as a way to protect herself emotionally. This can lead to a growing sense of distance between the partners, as physical touch is one of the primary ways people communicate affection and intimacy. Additionally, if a woman has begun to lose interest in the relationship, the lack of physical contact may be a natural consequence. When someone stops feeling emotionally or romantically invested in their partner, the desire for physical closeness also diminishes. If she is no longer feeling attracted or connected to her partner, she may avoid initiating touch as a sign that she is emotionally distant. This can be particularly difficult for the partner who still desires affection, as it may create feelings of confusion, rejection, and hurt. The absence of physical touch is not only a sign of emotional distance, but also a reflection of the fading connection that once existed between the couple. The quality of the relationship also plays a role in determining the frequency of physical contact. In healthy, balanced relationships, partners tend to maintain physical closeness because they feel secure and valued. However, when emotional needs are not being met, physical touch can become less frequent, and the relationship may begin to feel more like a routine or an obligation rather than a loving connection. Over time, this lack of affection can erode the emotional foundation of the relationship, leading both partners to feel disconnected and isolated. In conclusion, a lack of physical contact is often a clear sign that a woman has emotionally distanced herself from the relationship. Physical touch is one of the most immediate and intimate forms of communication, and when it disappears, it usually reflects a deeper emotional withdrawal. Whether due to emotional disengagement, unresolved conflict, or a general loss of interest, the absence of physical affection can signal that the emotional bond between partners has weakened. Addressing this issue requires open communication and a willingness to explore the emotional dynamics of the relationship. Number 2. Emotional detachment. Emotional detachment is one of the most significant signs that a woman has been emotionally withdrawn from a relationship for an extended period. It refers to a state where she no longer feels deeply connected to her partner or invested in the relationship's emotional dynamics. Emotional detachment can manifest in various ways, but it's often evident through a lack of responsiveness, indifference to the partner's feelings, and a general sense of distance. When a woman becomes emotionally detached, it's as though she has mentally and emotionally checked out of the relationship, no longer prioritizing her partner's needs or desires in the same way she once did. One of the clearest indicators of emotional detachment is a lack of emotional investment in the relationship. Initially, when the emotional bond is strong, partners tend to care deeply about each other's well-being, happiness, and personal growth. They engage in regular, meaningful conversations, share feelings, and show empathy and understanding when one partner is going through a challenging time. However, when emotional detachment sets in, a woman may stop showing interest in her partner's emotional state or struggles. She might stop asking about his day, avoiding conversations about how he feels, and becoming less responsive when he expresses concerns or vulnerabilities. This absence of emotional empathy signals a shift in her investment in the relationship, showing that she is no longer emotionally engaged or concerned about her partner's needs. In many cases, emotional detachment can also be tied to a sense of disillusionment or dissatisfaction in the relationship. When a woman feels that her emotional needs are not being met, she may begin to emotionally withdraw as a form of self-protection. If she has experienced ongoing neglect, hurtful behavior, or a lack of emotional support, her natural response may be to detach as a way of coping with the emotional pain. Over time, this detachment can become more pronounced, with her no longer engaging in affectionate gestures, emotional conversations, or efforts to nurture the relationship. The woman may feel that she has exhausted her emotional resources and no longer has the energy or desire to invest in the relationship. Another critical aspect of emotional detachment is the loss of intimacy. Emotional intimacy is what allows couples to feel close and connected, both physically and psychologically. When a woman becomes emotionally detached, this intimacy tends to dissipate. She may stop sharing her thoughts, dreams, or concerns, leaving her partner feeling excluded and distant. The absence of this emotional sharing creates a void in the relationship, and the partner may feel as though they no longer truly know or understand the woman. Intimacy, both emotional and physical, is the foundation of a strong relationship, and without it, couples often struggle to maintain the bond that once brought them together. The lack of communication is another common sign of emotional detachment. When a woman is emotionally disengaged, she may avoid meaningful conversations or even simple discussions about the relationship. This can manifest in her showing little interest in talking about plans for the future, family dynamics, or shared goals. Communication becomes transactional rather than emotional, and the relationship starts to feel more like a partnership out of obligation than one based on genuine connection and love. This shift in communication can create a sense of isolation for the partner, who may feel like they are speaking to a stranger rather than someone they once shared a deep emotional bond with. Finally, emotional detachment can sometimes result from unresolved conflicts or ongoing dissatisfaction that has not been addressed. When a woman feels that her concerns or needs have been ignored or dismissed, she may emotionally shut down as a defense mechanism, rather than engaging in healthy conflict resolution or seeking ways to reconnect. She may choose to emotionally distance herself to avoid further hurt. This detachment can eventually become a pattern where she withdraws more and more, creating a vicious cycle of emotional distance and growing dissatisfaction. Number 3. Inconsistent communication. Inconsistent communication is a powerful indicator of emotional distance in a relationship and often signals a deeper issue of disconnection or a lack of interest. Effective communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship. It allows both partners to express their needs, desires, and concerns, while also fostering mutual understanding and emotional intimacy. When a woman's communication becomes irregular, erratic, or noticeably less frequent, it often suggests that she is no longer as emotionally invested in the relationship as she once was. Communication inconsistency manifests in several ways, from delayed responses to avoidant behavior, and it can create significant strain on the connection between partners. One of the most obvious signs of inconsistent communication is delayed or absent responses. Initially, when a relationship is thriving, both partners are eager to stay in touch, whether through texts, phone calls, or in-person conversations. A consistent back-and-forth flow of communication helps reinforce the emotional bond. However, when a woman starts to emotionally disconnect, she may stop responding to messages promptly, or worse, leave them unanswered for long periods. This creates confusion for the partner, who might feel rejected or unimportant. At times, the delayed responses may not be intentional, but may result from her lack of motivation to engage in the conversation, which can indicate that she is no longer prioritizing the relationship in the same way. Another form of inconsistent communication is the avoidance of deeper or meaningful conversations. In the early stages of a relationship, partners often share personal thoughts, dreams, and feelings, creating a sense of closeness and emotional intimacy. However, when emotional detachment sets in, a woman may avoid having conversations that require emotional vulnerability or depth. Instead of engaging in these types of discussions, she may deflect with surface-level topics or provide short, non-committal answers. This behavior can leave the partner feeling emotionally disconnected and frustrated, as the emotional exchange that once existed in the relationship begins to fade away. Inconsistent communication can also manifest as unpredictable behavior when it comes to initiating conversations. A woman who is emotionally invested in a relationship will make an effort to initiate contact or check in on her partner. She will send thoughtful messages, ask about his day, or simply engage in casual conversations. However, when the emotional connection begins to fade, her desire to initiate communication may disappear. She may go days without reaching out, and when she does, it may feel random or disconnected from the overall dynamic of the relationship. This lack of initiative is often a sign that she is no longer putting in the effort to maintain the bond and may be less interested in the relationship. The inconsistency in communication can also be a result of emotional avoidance. If a woman is emotionally withdrawing from a relationship, she may use communication as a way to keep her distance. For example, when faced with difficult topics or conversations that might require emotional effort, she may choose to avoid them altogether. She might opt to respond with short, disengaged messages, or even refuse to engage in conversations she perceives as too emotionally demanding. This form of communication avoidance can be a defense mechanism, as it allows her to protect herself from having to confront difficult emotions or issues in the relationship. Over time, the inconsistent communication can cause a buildup of frustration and confusion for the partner. They may start to feel like they are no longer a priority, leading to feelings of inadequacy, rejection, and even self-doubt. In relationships, communication is key to understanding each other's needs, resolving conflicts, and maintaining closeness. When this communication becomes erratic or inconsistent, it can create a growing emotional distance that becomes harder to bridge. The partner may start to feel ignored or unimportant, leading to a decline in their own emotional investment and, in turn, contributing to further communication breakdowns. Inconsistent communication often reflects an underlying emotional disengagement, where one partner is no longer fully present in the relationship. Whether due to dissatisfaction, loss of interest, or unresolved conflicts, a woman's inability or unwillingness to communicate consistently can signal that she is no longer as committed to the relationship as she once was. Recognizing this behavior early is important, as it can provide both partners with the opportunity to address the root causes of the emotional distance and work toward re-establishing open, honest communication. Number 4. She no longer shares personal details. When a woman no longer shares personal details, it is a clear sign that she has emotionally distanced herself from her partner or the relationship. In the beginning stages of a strong connection, sharing personal information, feelings, and experiences is a fundamental part of building intimacy and trust. It allows both partners to understand each other's values, desires, and past experiences, which deepens their bond. However, when a woman begins to withdraw emotionally, she may stop sharing details about her life, thoughts, or feelings, indicating a significant change in her emotional investment. This lack of openness can be subtle at first. It may start with her sharing fewer personal anecdotes or experiences from her day. Initially, this could be overlooked, but as time goes on, the pattern becomes more noticeable. She may stop telling her partner about her work, her friends, or events in her life that used to be important to her. The flow of communication becomes more one-sided, with her focusing primarily on surface-level topics rather than diving into the deeper, more meaningful aspects of her life. Instead of confiding in her partner, she may begin to confide in friends or family, or keep her thoughts entirely to herself. The absence of personal sharing often signals that a woman no longer feels emotionally safe or supported within the relationship. In healthy relationships, couples are able to share their vulnerabilities without fear of judgment or rejection. However, if a woman has experienced a lack of understanding, emotional neglect, or criticism in the past, she may begin to shut down and retreat from sharing her innermost thoughts. This can happen gradually over time as trust erodes, and she may no longer feel the need or desire to reveal personal information to someone who, in her mind, may not truly understand or support her. In addition, this emotional withdrawal may stem from a lack of emotional connection or a sense of disinterest in the relationship. When a woman no longer feels emotionally connected to her partner, sharing personal details no longer seems important. She may even begin to compartmentalize her life, keeping aspects of it separate from the relationship to maintain some sense of autonomy and control. In these situations, the emotional bond between partners weakens, and the woman may feel like sharing personal details would only make her more vulnerable, so she opts to keep things to herself. Another reason a woman might stop sharing personal details is fear of conflict. If the relationship has been marked by frequent arguments or misunderstandings, she may have learned to avoid opening up for fear of triggering tension or disagreement. This can lead to emotional shutdown, where she intentionally withholds her personal thoughts or feelings in an effort to keep the peace or avoid confrontation. Over time, this can create a distance in the relationship, as her partner may feel left out or disconnected from her life. Furthermore, if a woman has begun to emotionally detach from the relationship, she might stop sharing personal details because she no longer sees a future with her partner. As her feelings change, she might feel that revealing her innermost thoughts or dreams would only create a deeper emotional entanglement that she is no longer willing to invest in. She might stop talking about future plans, hopes, or dreams, because in her mind, those things no longer involve her partner. This lack of personal disclosure can be a defense mechanism, protecting herself from emotional vulnerability in a relationship that she feels is no longer fulfilling or sustainable. Avoiding vulnerability can also be a sign of deeper emotional turmoil. If a woman has been hurt or disappointed in the past, she may shield herself by keeping her personal details to herself. This emotional self-protection is a way of preserving her heart and minimizing the risk of further pain. She may stop sharing her personal thoughts because she fears that opening up will lead to disappointment, rejection, or further emotional hurt. The shift from sharing personal details to emotional withholding can create a significant gap in the relationship. For the partner, this change can be confusing and hurtful, as it often feels like the woman is pulling away and refusing to include him in her life. It can lead to feelings of rejection, isolation, and insecurity. Without the ability to share deeply personal thoughts and experiences, the emotional connection begins to erode, leaving both partners feeling disconnected and distant. In conclusion, when a woman no longer shares personal details, it is often a sign of emotional withdrawal and a lack of investment in the relationship. This behavior can stem from a variety of factors, including a loss of trust, disinterest, fear of conflict, or a desire to protect herself from further emotional hurt. Recognizing this change is crucial for understanding the state of the relationship. Both partners need to assess the reasons behind this emotional distancing and communicate openly to rebuild trust and connection, ensuring that the relationship is nurtured and that both individuals feel heard, understood, and emotionally safe. Number 5. Frequent changes in mood. Frequent changes in mood can be a strong indication that a woman is experiencing emotional turmoil, which often reflects a deeper issue in the relationship or within herself. Emotional fluctuations can manifest in various ways, such as shifting from joy to irritability, warmth to coldness, or even enthusiasm to apathy, sometimes within a matter of hours or minutes. This unpredictability in mood is not only confusing for the partner, but can also signal that the woman is emotionally detached or conflicted. When mood changes become a recurring pattern, it may indicate unresolved issues, stress, or a lack of emotional stability either within the relationship or her personal life. One of the primary reasons behind frequent mood changes in a woman could be emotional withdrawal from the relationship. When a woman feels disconnected or dissatisfied, her emotional state can become erratic. She might vacillate between moments of affection and detachment, not because of her partner's actions directly, but because she is internally struggling with the direction of the relationship or her feelings toward it. For instance, she may have moments of warmth when she feels nostalgic or remembers better times, but quickly shift to coldness when she feels the emotional gap growing between them. This behavior reflects inner conflict and the inability to reconcile her feelings. Another factor that contributes to mood swings is unresolved emotional stress. Life challenges such as work pressure, family issues, or personal insecurities can affect one's emotional stability. A woman who is dealing with external pressures may not always have the emotional resources to maintain a constant mood, especially if she feels unsupported or misunderstood in the relationship. These external stresses can lead to irritability, frustration, or emotional withdrawal, which often manifests as rapid mood changes. The partner might feel like they are walking on eggshells, unsure of how to respond to the emotional fluctuations that seem to come out of nowhere. The presence of frequent mood shifts can also signal a lack of emotional investment. If a woman is no longer fully invested in the relationship, her mood may become unpredictable as she disengages emotionally. She may oscillate between moments of attachment and emotional distance, depending on her level of engagement with the relationship. This inconsistency in emotional availability can confuse her partner and create a sense of insecurity. At times, she may even appear to be more distant and uninterested, while at other times, she might exhibit warmth or affection, only to retreat again. This seesaw behavior can leave her partner feeling emotionally drained and uncertain about where they stand. Another potential cause of mood swings could be self-doubt or internal emotional conflict. If a woman is going through an internal struggle regarding the relationship, her own feelings, or her self-worth, this emotional turmoil can manifest in rapid mood shifts. For instance, she may feel conflicted about her partner's behavior or the relationship dynamics, leading her to experience moments of frustration, followed by guilt or sadness when she questions whether she is being too harsh or too critical. This internal emotional conflict can create an unpredictable emotional environment that is difficult to navigate for both her and her partner. Mood swings can also be a sign of deeper dissatisfaction with the relationship. When someone feels unfulfilled or disconnected from their partner, their mood can fluctuate dramatically. The partner might notice that the woman becomes irritable or withdrawn at times when the relationship is strained or when her needs are not being met. On the other hand, during moments when the relationship appears to improve or when positive experiences occur, her mood may shift back to being more affectionate or positive. This fluctuation is often indicative of unresolved dissatisfaction and may indicate that the woman is struggling to express her true feelings about the relationship. Instead of openly communicating her dissatisfaction, she may exhibit mood swings as a way of expressing her discomfort or frustration. Emotional volatility can also be exacerbated by fear of confrontation. If a woman fears that discussing her concerns or frustrations will lead to conflict, she may resort to mood swings as a way of expressing her distress without confronting the issue directly. Rather than having an honest conversation about what's bothering her, she may bottle up her emotions, causing them to spill out in unpredictable and sometimes disproportionate ways. This creates a cycle of emotional instability where the woman's feelings are never fully addressed, leading to ongoing fluctuations in mood and a sense of emotional unpredictability. In conclusion, frequent changes in mood are often a sign of emotional instability and dissatisfaction, both within the relationship and in a woman's internal emotional world. These shifts can stem from a variety of sources, including emotional withdrawal, external stresses, unresolved relationship issues, or internal emotional conflict. Regardless of the cause, these mood swings can create an atmosphere of uncertainty and frustration for both partners. Recognizing this pattern early is important, as it provides an opportunity to address the underlying emotional causes and work toward a more stable and harmonious relationship. Open communication, understanding, and emotional support are essential in helping to mitigate these mood fluctuations and restore balance to the emotional dynamics of the relationship. Number 6. Avoidance of deep conversations. When a woman begins to avoid deep conversations, it can be a sign that she is emotionally withdrawing from the relationship. In any meaningful connection, deep conversations are crucial for building intimacy, trust, and understanding. They allow partners to discuss their feelings, hopes, dreams, and concerns in a way that strengthens the emotional bond. However, when a woman consistently avoids engaging in these types of discussions, it can indicate that she no longer feels emotionally safe, comfortable, or invested in the relationship. This avoidance may not be immediately noticeable, but can become increasingly apparent as the relationship progresses. The avoidance of deep conversations often begins with subtle changes in communication patterns. Initially, she might show reluctance to engage in certain topics that once felt natural or important. If the conversation begins to take a more intimate or serious turn, she might quickly redirect the topic, brush it off with a joke, or even shut down entirely. These shifts in behavior are often unconscious responses to an underlying discomfort or emotional detachment. As a result, the partner might feel confused or frustrated, unable to connect on a deeper level. One of the most telling signs of this avoidance is a lack of vulnerability. In healthy relationships, partners are willing to open up about their insecurities, past experiences, and personal challenges. However, when a woman avoids deep conversations, it often means that she is either unwilling or unable to be vulnerable. Vulnerability requires trust and emotional safety, and if she no longer feels that these elements are present in the relationship, she may retreat into emotional self-protection. The fear of being judged, misunderstood, or hurt may prevent her from sharing her true feelings, leading her to disengage from serious discussions. Another reason a woman might avoid deep conversations is emotional exhaustion. If the relationship has been marked by frequent conflicts, misunderstandings, or emotional strain, she may feel drained by the idea of engaging in yet another heavy or emotionally charged conversation. In these cases, she might choose to withdraw from these types of discussions as a way of protecting herself from further emotional fatigue. Instead of addressing the underlying issues, she may prefer to keep things light and superficial, avoiding topics that require emotional energy or effort to resolve. The avoidance of deep conversations can also stem from a lack of emotional connection or disinterest in the relationship. As emotional distance grows, the desire to share and connect on a meaningful level diminishes. She may no longer feel the need to discuss her innermost thoughts and feelings because she no longer views the relationship as a safe space for emotional exchange. This disconnection can be a result of various factors, such as feeling unsupported, unappreciated, or neglected. Over time, as the emotional bond weakens, she may start to avoid any conversations that might reignite her emotional investment in the relationship. In some cases, the avoidance of deep conversations can also indicate fear of conflict. If the woman has experienced past disagreements that escalated or caused emotional harm, she might fear that engaging in deep discussions will lead to more conflict. Instead of confronting difficult emotions or having potentially uncomfortable conversations, she may choose to remain silent or deflect attention elsewhere. This can create a vicious cycle where the avoidance of deep conversations leads to more unresolved issues, and the fear of conflict prevents the relationship from evolving in a healthy way. Moreover, avoidance of deep conversations can be a defense mechanism for self-preservation. If the woman feels that the relationship is not fulfilling her emotional needs or that her partner is not meeting her expectations, she may retreat into silence as a way of avoiding further disappointment. By disengaging from serious discussions, she can protect herself from having to confront the painful reality that the relationship is no longer serving her in the way it once did. In this case, the avoidance is an unconscious effort to maintain emotional distance and avoid facing the truth about the state of the relationship. Finally, avoidance of deep conversations can also reflect indecision about the future of the relationship. When a woman is unsure about her feelings or the direction of the relationship, she may avoid having conversations that would force her to confront these uncertainties. If she is unsure about her commitment, desires, or whether she wants to continue with her partner, avoiding deep conversations allows her to delay making any decisions. This can be a way of keeping the relationship in a state of limbo, without fully acknowledging or addressing the potential need for change. In conclusion, the avoidance of deep conversations is often a significant red flag that indicates emotional withdrawal, disconnection, or a lack of investment in the relationship. It can stem from a variety of causes, including emotional exhaustion, fear of conflict, a lack of vulnerability, or uncertainty about the future. Recognizing this behavior is essential for understanding the state of the relationship. If both partners are unwilling or unable to engage in meaningful discussions, it can lead to further emotional distance and an erosion of the bond. Open, honest communication is key to maintaining a healthy relationship, and addressing the avoidance of deep conversations can help restore emotional connection and trust. Number 7. Lack of effort to impress or please. When a woman shows a lack of effort to impress or please her partner, it often signals a significant shift in her emotional investment in the relationship. In the early stages of a relationship, both partners typically put in considerable effort to win each other's affection. They dress well, plan thoughtful dates, engage in meaningful conversations, and generally try to make each other feel special and valued. However, when a woman stops making these efforts, it can indicate that she no longer feels the same level of emotional attachment or care. This behavior is a subtle yet powerful sign of emotional withdrawal, where the woman may no longer feel motivated to maintain the initial excitement and connection. One reason for this lack of effort is emotional disconnection. As relationships progress, the intensity of initial feelings often starts to fade, and if one partner feels neglected, unappreciated, or unloved, their desire to put in effort can diminish. In this case, the woman may feel that her partner no longer values or recognizes her efforts, leading her to stop trying altogether. The lack of reciprocation or appreciation can make her feel as though her actions are futile, thus causing her to disengage. This emotional exhaustion and frustration can gradually lead to a situation where both partners stop trying to impress or please each other, resulting in a stagnant and unfulfilling relationship. Another possible reason for a lack of effort is emotional fatigue. Relationships, especially long-term ones, require consistent emotional energy and attention. When a woman feels overwhelmed by external pressures, such as work stress, family obligations, or personal challenges, she may not have the emotional bandwidth to invest in the relationship. This exhaustion can manifest as a disinterest in making any special effort to impress or please her partner. She might feel mentally or physically drained, and as a result, may no longer prioritize putting energy into maintaining the romantic aspects of the relationship. Her partner may notice a lack of enthusiasm when it comes to planning dates, dressing up, or making gestures that once seemed important. A lack of effort can also be a reflection of waning romantic interest. When someone falls out of love or becomes emotionally indifferent, they no longer feel the urge to impress or please their partner. The excitement that once existed in the relationship starts to fade, and the desire to make the other person feel special diminishes. Instead of planning surprises or taking extra steps to make the partner feel valued, she may fall into a routine where the relationship becomes more about convenience or habit than passion and excitement. This lack of effort is often a subconscious way of signaling that the emotional connection has weakened, and without that bond, the motivation to engage in acts of affection or appreciation decreases. In some cases, lack of effort to impress or please could also stem from feeling taken for granted. If a woman feels that her partner no longer recognizes or appreciates her efforts, she may stop trying altogether. This can happen when she perceives that her partner is no longer putting in the same level of effort, or when her contributions to the relationship go unnoticed. The perception that she is constantly giving without receiving the same level of attention or effort can lead to feelings of resentment. In these situations, the woman may stop trying to impress or please her partner as a form of silent protest or as a way to signal her dissatisfaction. The absence of this effort is a way of indicating that the relationship has become imbalanced, where one person is doing all the emotional labor without reciprocal care. Another reason behind a lack of effort could be emotional numbness. When someone has been hurt emotionally or has faced repeated disappointment, they may choose to numb their feelings as a way of protecting themselves. This emotional guard can prevent them from investing in the relationship or engaging in behaviors that might show vulnerability. The woman may emotionally distance herself to avoid the risk of getting hurt again, leading to a lack of enthusiasm in impressing or pleasing her partner. This detachment is often a defense mechanism against further emotional pain, making it difficult for her to fully connect or engage in efforts that once felt natural. Additionally, the lack of effort could signal an absence of future goals within the relationship. If a woman begins to feel that the relationship has reached its natural end or that it no longer serves her needs, she may stop putting in the effort to keep it alive. When there is no longer a vision for the future together, the desire to invest in making the relationship better or more exciting fades. In such cases, the woman may stop trying to impress or please her partner simply because she doesn't see a long-term commitment as a possibility. The lack of effort becomes a subtle way of signaling that the relationship is no longer fulfilling or aligned with her future aspirations. In conclusion, a lack of effort to impress or please in a relationship is a clear sign that the emotional dynamics between the partners have changed. It can be caused by emotional disconnection, fatigue, waning romantic interest, feeling unappreciated, emotional numbness, or a lack of future vision. Regardless of the cause, this behavior often reflects a deeper issue in the relationship, where one partner no longer feels the motivation or desire to engage in behaviors that strengthen the bond. It is essential for both partners to address these signs early on, as neglecting them can lead to further emotional detachment and potentially the end of the relationship. Open communication and a willingness to rekindle the emotional connection are crucial in restoring effort and engagement in the relationship.